Last time we rejoined the salvage syndicate and remaining gray dogs after their encounter with a pack of clawfoot dinosaurs, vicious bipedal creatures with large, scythe-like claws on their back legs. Dervo was lost in the fight, which leads Sprocket to suggest the unfortunate but necessary solution of interring the fallen gray dogs within the Mournland. Otherwise, the rest of the party may not reach Salvation Outpost alive. Callie is initially infuriated by the suggestion, but comes to understand the futility of slowing down the party by lugging the bodies of their companions and the Oracle along with them. Callie ultimately agrees, but requests that Caron perform funeral rites, hoping that by doing so, the remains of her friends will remain at rest. Graves are dug for Tandal, Nella, and Durbo in the shadow of a secluded hillside, and once they have been covered, Caron performs a moving tribute to the fallen. As they prepare to leave, Donnie pulls several teeth from the slain claw feet, intending to find a use for them later.
Did she
With that,
swing in the arms of an angel?
no, but you should have been here. It was actually very good. In fact, she did so good, I gave her an inspiration point.
Aw.
Yeah. With that, the party heads for home. They travel for several hours, traveling through, excuse me, traveling through a narrow valley not far from where they'd passed a few days previously. Movement catches the party's attention as a large, mouse-like creature emerges from a nearby nook in the rock wall. Melody approaches, startling the creature, which lets out a piercing shriek as its bottom jaw splits open, a purple tongue lashing out from the tooth-lined maw. The shriek is answered in kind as several more emerge from all around. Callie is alarmed by the creatures, which she calls a hookmaw, stating that if the creatures were to swarm, the party would be overrun. Fortunately, there are only a few of the creatures present, and they are quickly able to destroy them all. The remaining journey to salvation is mercifully uneventful, and the party arrives at the outpost shortly after sunset. Callie and Sprocket leave the group, opting to head to the Grey Beyond for dinner and to look into adding new members to their crew. Melody tracks down a tailor to repair the dress she acquired at the Fireweed Bazaar, while Donnie visits the blacksmith to commission a set of arrows to be built with the clawfoot teeth he collected. Meanwhile, the rest of the syndicate return to the Salvation Hotel, Oracle in tow, and while the proprietor is distracted, the Oracle is carried up the stairs to their rented room. Exhausted from their latest foray into the Mournland, the syndicate decide to skip dinner and instead go to bed, crashing hard as they take their long rest. With that, you guys leveled up to level 4, which I believe you guys have all taken care of that with your characters. And we rejoin the syndicate the following morning as you guys come to wake. I turn it down on my side just a little bit. Um, and you have the day ahead of you. So, what would you like to do?
Hmm.
Is there a library?
I do not believe there is a library here in the outpost, although there is a newspaper, so there might
Ooh,
be,
even better.
if you're looking for something to research, you might be able to check them out.
I'm not getting cursed into an elf again.
I don't get it.
um,
The book from Candlekeep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah, I want to see if anybody's heard of something called an oracle that would have been used by somebody.
Okay.
The blocks.
I don't know if we established who was using the oracle.
Uh, you mean who made it, who was using it
Yeah,
originally, or
who was using it?
I don't think there was anything that you came across, like right when you found it, that would have given you any indication. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you guys. So the Salvation Times is number 2. So it's the at the top row, that second long building. You can see the number 2 on it. That's where the newspaper is. So if you wanted to check there. So I will say off the bat, when you wake up, every last one of you is starving because it's been a while since you've had an opportunity to sit down and have a proper meal. And when you got to the outpost yesterday, you were so exhausted you guys went right to bed without any dinner. So if you'd like to remedy that, you can go to the tavern. Otherwise, whatever you guys want to do, just let me know.
Did we finish bringing the oracle with us back to town?
So when you guys all got to the town, as I just said in the recap, uh, Callie and Sprocket went off on their own. Melody and Donnie went off to take care of a couple small errands of their own, and Charon, Killian, and Astrid brought the oracle with them to the hotel. And I don't remember which one of you guys it was, but somebody distracted Mira, I think her name is, the proprietor of the yeah, Mira, um, the proprietor of the hotel. So while she was distracted with that, the other two brought the oracle upstairs. So you guys have it with you currently.
Okay.
Uh, Still uh, letting off the third protocol activated. Um, though muffled, you actually even threw like an extra blanket over it to mute the noise a little bit. Um, but it is still continuing to uh, let that out every so often.
Okay.
It was great to sleep next to that. Yeah, I'll go get some breakfast.
Same.
Okay. All
Me
right.
too.
I
Okay.
guess so, yeah.
Okay.
I have 3 rations on me, but I figure we have enough money to probably just buy food. It'd be better to do that.
Okay. All right.
Save the
So
rations for when we get stuck in another dead place, wastelands.
okay. So everybody's going to the Gray Beyond Tavern for some breakfast.
Yes.
Cool. Cool. All right. So you leave the hotel and you head up the street towards the Gray Beyond, which is number 3. So it's not that far a walk, just up and around the corner. Uh, you get there. Oh, and I would probably say that it's because you guys went to bed so early, you also woke up fairly early. So it is probably about maybe 5:30, 6 a.m. And you get to the tavern and you enter, and there's maybe besides you and the barkeep, you see that there is maybe 4 other people in the room. A couple of patrons are kind of sitting at tables by themselves, kind of. One of them is eating like breakfast or swilling some coffee. There's another one that is actually got his head laid on the table, where it looks like he is sleeping off the effects of last night's drunken bender. And towards the middle of the room, at a small table, there is a couple of men. One looks to be half elven, the other one looks to be just straight up human, and they are just kind of chatting over breakfast. So you can take a table, uh, and when you do so, what's his face will be over to offer you some. Yeah, Malia will come over and offer you uh, the day's breakfast special, which he informs you will be 3 silver. per. Uh, an additional 3 copper if you'd like to add some coffee to that. Um, and uh, and it's just a simple meal. There's like some toasted bread, a couple of thick sausages with some eggs, and some grilled potatoes. Real hearty stuff, but very simple fare. Um, and will you all be getting the breakfast, or unless anybody's got something specific
Yes.
in mind?
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
I require only the fanciest of breakfast, please.
Maybe you'll
Eggs
come to the
Benedict,
wrong place.
That's right.
hollandaise sauce.
So Malou dashes off to prepare your breakfast, and while you wait, you kind of kind of sit there a little bit dozily, because you're still a bit tired. It's been a long couple of days, and as you're sitting there, you kind of hear a little bit of the conversation between the human man and the half elf, um, and something about they are talking about a one of them says that that they'd heard a rumor um, that a friend of theirs, will say the guy's name is Zach. Okay, his friend Zach uh, had was planning to leave the outpost yesterday to make a supply run, and or actually was coming back from a supply run, and mentioned that oddly there was a pack of two-headed dogs that was skulking around the entirety of Salvation, um, but kind of keeping a bit of distance. Like he'd watch them for a bit, and that these two-headed dogs were kind of going around the outpost, but were staying at a distance of probably anywhere from like a quarter to half a mile, just outside the edge of town. And the half elf is just like, oh, that's weird. Two-headed dog. You don't think it's and the human just kind of like, could be. We have seen them this time of year, but not usually that many, and they definitely don't hang out in one area for too long.
Can we make a nature check or some kind of knowledge check?
Yeah, you can do a nature check.
Damn it for suggesting nature instead of just knowledge.
I will actually even if that doesn't work, I will even say either nature or history.
Someone else want to try?
Nature or history?
Yeah, nature or history.
Oh,
Nature, history, about the same for me.
It's early, Oh, Melody, okay.
Okay. So Melody, actually, I'm going to do this as a whisper because I think it's more interesting that way.
I don't need to care about your earliness.
Um,
Two-headed dogs. Wait. Huh. There's a part of my brain that's picturing like Cerberus.
Same.
essentially. Just
And there's
minus one head.
Yeah, and there's a part of my brain that's picturing like Australian wild pack dogs.
That works too.
But when he's saying two-headed, I'm also kind of picturing cat dog, but with two dog heads.
Oh God!
No, the Cerberus image is a lot closer.
Okay.
Okay. So, before you get too interested in their conversation, Moo shows up with plates of food that he puts down in front of you. And it smells amazing. Like your mouth immediately start watering. You are so
Mm.
hungry. And it is all you can do to keep from shoveling it into your face as fast as you can. And it's delicious. It is it is like the best food you've had in a really, really long time.
Mm. Oh,
Okay.
that's nice.
Okay. So, um, yeah, you spend a little bit of time over breakfast, and by the time you're done with breakfast, we'll say it's probably about 7, and the day is yours. What would you like to do?
I want to go
I'm
peruse the board.
Okay. So you get up and you walk over to the board. Surprisingly, there does not seem to be much on it right now. Looks like it's maybe kind of like a slow week. You see somebody's looking for somebody to uh, uh, help move some sacks of grain from one building to another. There's somebody that is asking for help uh, stacking bricks. One stacking bricks kind of help uh, with bricklaying to kind of expand on the foundation of this building. Um, and yeah, it's just like minor little like beginner quest type stuff. Like, oh, kill 10 rats and yeah, that type of shit. But other than that, there's nothing really that is in your minds worthy of your attention.
Mm.
I'll go ahead and grab the one for moving grain.
Okay.
Just some busy work.
Okay.
And you
So
said that
yeah.
was 3 silver and how many copper for the breakfast each?
Uh,
2 copper.
did I say? Yeah, 3 silver and 3 copper for the coffee.
Oh, 3. Excuse me. I don't have any silver or copper, just gold. You'll have to remind me how to deduct that.
Is it 10 per or
It's
100?
10 to 10 to 10.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 10 copper to the silver, 10 silver to the gold.
Okay.
And I know the electrum's in there somewhere, but I don't know exactly what that.
It's 5. And
Oh,
electrum
okay, so
is.
it's like 5 silver.
I thought electrum was above gold. It's like.
Might be. I've never really seen
Electrum is
electrum.
below copper.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
No,
the
that's not.
lowest form.
No, electrum's not below copper.
I will check.
What is the uh, conversion rate for electrum?
Electrum is in between silver and gold.
Okay, that's what I always think.
So we're
Electrum?
both wrong.
It's 5 silver. No,
It's
you were right. You said 5 silver pieces. You said it was
yeah,
Who's
it's
gonna
five
use
silver
electrum?
pieces to an electrum.
Yeah, one electrum piece is worth 50 copper pieces, 5 silver pieces, half of a gold piece, or 1/20th of a platinum piece.
Hmm.
It's a half gold.
Cool. All right. So, what are you heading out for the grain thing?
Um, y- yes, but do we still need to stop in and see? Um,
Bellalure?
yeah.
Okay.
So I guess on the way.
Oh yes.
So,
Mhm.
so Bellalure, you would see her at the salvage market,
Hmm.
and she, the salvage market might be someplace to go over and inquire about the potential value of something in your possession,
The
or
dress.
see if not the dress. Uh, yeah, I mean, you might be able to. Well, tell me what you guys want to do. I gotta stop. I gotta stop hinting.
So do we? Is there a Civis message station here?
Uh, trying to remember. See here. Da, 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 da. There does not appear to be.
Hmm.
Yeah, probably like messages would go out with potentially like an with the lightning rail. When it visits, there might be like mail that goes out with it. But there does not appear to be a Civis station in town.
Hmm.
Keep in mind it's like a frontier town, so this is kind of like out on the edge of nothing. So like
Hmm.
those type of services would not really be worth putting out this far.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. What was the message you wanted to send?
I was gonna send something back to the family,
Oh, oh, oh,
but
oh. Uh-huh. What about the newspaper?
Okay, so you wanted to head over to the newspaper?
Well, yes, but I was wondering if they had like a letter service or something. What? No, not a letter. What's it called?
telegram.
Oh,
Telegram. Thank you.
telegram or telegraph?
That's what the
Mhm.
Civis station would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, um, but yeah, let's talk to Bellalure first before I do anything else. Unless the gray dogs already went and talked to her. Reported in.
Let's switch over to something different. Okay. All right. So what do you want to do? Yeah, you going to the newspaper or are you going to salvage market?
I'll
Let's go to
follow.
the salvage market first.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What was the last?
I said let's go to the salvage market first.
Okay. Okay. So you actually, I mean, the salvage. Let's see. Right now, you are right there. So the salvage market is right across the street from your hotel. So you make your way down Main Street towards the salvage market, and you can see that it looks like the doors have just opened, and you take a look inside, and you can see. Uh, that there are like 6 tables that are kind of set up with, various like pieces of like salvage that are on it. You don't see anybody actually kind of like in there right now, other than there's a handful of people. You can see Delaware and her daughter, Gar- Garunda. The hell was her name?
I think it was Garinda.
I think it was
Really?
Garunda.
Yeah.
I know it began. I know it began with a G.
Look.
Uh, just saw it too. Da, da, da. Over. Here we go. Here we go. Yep, Gorinda. I was right. Okay. So you see Belor and Gorinda kind of like, setting up, pieces on their tables. You see a um, kind of a uh, kind of a tall man. Well, you assume he was a man, but you see like a masculine figure. Uh, Also setting up things on the table. What you notice about him is that uh, he has a kind of like a mask that covers his nose and his mouth. Um, and even from the doorway, you can hear this kind of as he's kind of moving stuff around, like kind of like very much like a Darth Vader ventilator type sound. You kind of get the sense that um, he requires this mask for some sort of breathing. It's some sort of breathing apparatus. You also see a familiar, um, plump, rosy-cheeked woman uh, who is who wears like a purple scarf kind of draped over her shoulder, and she is kind of um, indicating a couple. Okay, this is just. I'm gonna turn this off. It's too chaotic.
What
Forget
about
that.
that one really soft, like piano-y one that you had before?
It's like I just turned off the whole thing. Yeah, I just got annoyed. I can't seem to control the volume enough where you guys can hear it, but it doesn't get in the way of me. So we will just go music free.
We can
All
control
right.
the volume on our side, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, but I can't seem to go over and fix it on my side where it. What was I gonna say? Oh, so the kind of the plump, rosy cheeked woman with the purple scarf. She's kind of ordering a pair of like it looks like helpers. Like it's like put that over there, put that over there, and it's like she's just kind of standing there bossing them around. And as you kind of like come to the door, she kind of looks up and she sees you, and her face darkens, and she just kind of like quickly looks away and goes back to like ordering her helpers around. Um, you get the sense that the salvage market is not open quite yet. And actually, if you look to the side, you can see posted on the door. You can see that the hours that the market will open is at 8 a.m., which is probably about 45 minutes away. So you got a little bit of time. Yeah. But you did you. But that's if you wanted to shop. If you just want to go in and talk to Bella Laura, you're welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to Bellalore.
Yeah, that was my
Okay.
plan.
Okay. All right. So you walk into the market and approach Bella's table. I'm gonna say,
Hey, Andy, you're very quiet.
oh, is this better?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I'm eating the microphone now. Put it a little closer. Uh, see, I want to check something real quick. Uh, Just weird. Killian, for some strange reason, does not show up on the party sheet. Strange. Okay.
Did you maybe try to add the old sheet at one point and then just never swapped it?
Well, no, I don't think I'm wondering if it has something to do with you running two characters because I noticed that when nobody signed in, if I sign in to do my prep work and everything, um, everybody except Killian is on the top. Killian does not show up until you sign in and select everybody. And
Hmm.
Killian was not in the party sheet, so I'm thinking it might have something to do with that, although I don't know. Um, and the other thing I'm noticing is it looks like, oh, the trait. 'Cause you only get so much hit dice back when you long rest, right?
No, you healed a fool.
Not hit points, hit dice. I think you're
Um,
only.
I think
I
I
think it's
don't
like
know.
half. I think it's like half the character level or something. That's weird because that's like I'm looking. So like Melody's only got 2 of 4. Killian's got two of
Have we had a
4.
long rest?
Yeah. Oh, did I not? That would probably be it. 'Cause
Yeah, we did have a long rest at the
you
end
had
of
a long
that
rest, but I
session.
don't know if I actually did the long rest here. So let's try that.
Yeah, you
Okay,
Um,
so
did.
that's what it was. That's what it was. I hadn't done that yet. Okay. And I was looking for perception. Here we go. Okay, cool. Uh, okay. So as you walk into the market and approach Beller's table, Charon, out of the corner of your eye, you notice that the woman with the purple scarf is like staring at you, like glowering, like she looks pissed about something, but
It
you don't know.
this is not the same woman that was in. There wasn't a woman in the tavern. It was here in the market you were describing earlier, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So she's the one that's like bossing her people around. Like
So
do this, do this, do this.
can Karen see if there's any identifying icons, images, marks, anything on her or her staff?
You don't see anything. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Once I find it. Nope.
Okay, you barely even know that she's watching you. You don't see anything that kind of stands out. It's kind of like an identify. Like she does not at first sight appear to be like a member of a dragon marked house because you don't see a dragon mark. You don't see any identifying emblems or anything like that. Um, yeah, you're not sure what her deal is. The only thing I can go over and tell you is 2 things. One, you can tell she's pissed at you for reasons unknown. And 2, you have seen this woman before.
Any idea where we've seen her before?
Yep. So when you guys first uh, started, she was staying in the hotel. She is staying in the same hotel as you. You had she was one of the I forget if it was I think it was the morning after the first night that you stayed there. She was talking with Mira at the front counter when you came downstairs.
Oh, okay. So Charon is going to actually approach the woman and ask her, "Hey, what's wrong? Fix your face."
Is that what you do?
Why are you
Yes.
mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault that you'll be checking. Keep up.
Uh, she just turns and she looks at you and she just kind of gives you like this look of disdain. And she's like, I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about. And I don't have time to discuss with any matters with you right now. So please, we are much too busy.
Are you sure? Because your face says that you are not happy to see me.
I wouldn't hold yourself in that high regard. You mean nothing to me. I just happen to look in your direction. I have much to do. I have no time for you.
So you just have resting bitch face? Is that it?
She she looks a little bit irritated that you won't take the hint and go away. um, and she just kind of like gives you like this very tight little grin, this little smile, just kind of very like, oh, I'm dealing with stupid people today. And she's like, do have a good day. And she like kind of stalks off towards like a box that's off to the side there. Just completely, ignoring you.
Mm, whatever.
Hey, do you want a talking box?
Okay. So while Carolyn's doing that, the rest of you have approached Bellalure, and she looks up as you come, and she's like, "Oh, hello, welcome back. When did you guys get in?"
Last night,
Really? So how did that little mission go?
um, well, we did manage to rescue Callie.
Oh, that's good news.
However, the rest of her team did not make it.
Like at her face, kind of like pales, and her mouth kind of drops open. She's like, "Oh, good. Oh, gods, no! All of them? Only Callie made it back?
There were only 4 total, right? And we buried 3.
5 total.
Oh,
And Callie and Sprocket made it.
oh, oh, yeah. Sprocket survived as well, but the other 3 unfortunately didn't make it, and we had to bury them, inter them in the moorlands.
She gets kind of like a very sad look on her face. She says, "Oh, Callie must be beside herself. She was quite close with most of her crew. Oh, goodness. And you had to bury them in the Mournland?
I'm pretty sure
That
that's what you said, right?
that that seems awfully risky."
Well,
Well,
go ahead.
oh no, you can go ahead. I'm just saying, well,
We were being assaulted by undead, and hauling the bodies, unfortunately, was more of a hindrance than burying them.
And she nods, and she's like, I can understand that. She's like, and she kind of like looks around, and she's like surprised that, with the three of you, you weren't, with UI and, Callie and Sprocket, you weren't able to bring, especially since Nala was, oh, so small. I think that was her name, Nala, Nessa. What the hell was her name? Anyway, uh, she's like, I'm surprised that you weren't able to carry them, but makes sense, that you had to leave them behind. But hearing that you were dealing with undead, that's what gives me cause for concern, because the magics of the Mournland, they are unpredictable. They do not often let the dead stay dead. So hopefully those three are at peace. But at any rate, uh, you achieved the mission that I tasked you with. So, and she reaches under the counter and she pulls out a pouch of coin, and she plunks it on the table. She says, as promised, she says, this is 50 gold for each of you. So it's a total of 250. And I can make a parcel. Da, 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 250. Drop that in the party sheet.
Guess we can just leave that in the party sheet for now. Pull from
Okay.
it when we need to.
Okay. Okay. So that is in the party sheet. So now you have 375 in gold sitting in there. And so I seriously doubt that Callie is going to have much information for me. Tell me, were you able to find anything at the bazaar?
Um, yes, we did find an artifact of the last war.
Really?
It's a box.
A box?
Some kind of strategic advisory system.
Interesting. Do you have it with you?
It's at the end.
It's tucked away safely.
Oh, that's good to know. She's like, well, it's like I'd be interested in seeing it. I mean, kind of curious to see what you found.
Hmm.
Um, but were you able to find any of the fabrics, or were there any goods at the bazaar? Because I kept hearing that there were all sorts of great stuff there.
It had been largely picked over. Um, I forgot her name. Astrid managed to find a piece of clothing.
Actually, there was Melody.
Sorry, Melody.
Really?
Hmm.
And she looks at Melody,
It was the only thing that wasn't torn to pieces.
and she looks a little crestfallen, and she's like, "Ah, damn! I was really counting on that that would have made my year if there had been something. But, well, I guess I guess you can't win them all, can you?
Mm-mm.
Oh well." And and as she's been chatting with you, Gwenda has been kind of like busily kind of setting things up, and she stops and she kind of wipes her hand across her brow, and she like smiles up at you, and she's like, "Well, stands to reason that the place has been picked over. I mean, it's like that's what we do. People go in there, they find what they can, they come back here and they sell it. You know, to think that there would be much left there after all this time, it's probably a little bit of wishful thinking there, Ma." And Bellalora just kind of like smirks, and she's like, "You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I was so hoping." And she's like, "Well," she's like, "I got to finish setting this up." She says, "If you get a chance, you want me to take a look at that box, it's like, feel free to bring it in. Um, I'll be here all day."
I think it would be easier for you to come visit us after you end your day here.
Oh, could potentially do that. It's going to be a long day because I'm going to be here until at least 8 o'clock.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So she says, "Okay, well, I will, come over to the hotel when you're, at the end of the day, and we'll see what we can find out for you." And so Corinda goes over and she said, "Well, wait a second, Mom." She's like, "Once we get this all set up, it's like, I can man the table if you want to go and deal with this. Take a look at it." Now, and Bellar kind of like she kind of like considers, and she looks up at you. She says, "Well, I mean, if you guys are game for that, I can do that now if you want to take care of it."
Hmm. Sure.
Okay.
Right.
So so she turns to Corinda and she's, just says, "Okay." She said, "Well, just get the rest of the gear out there, put it on that table, and put the armor pieces that we got last week over there. Put it on that table, and then, you know what? This might not take long. She said, "I'll deal with the rest of it when I get back, but just get that set up, and I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll be back in a little bit." And Garinda's like, yeah, she just kind of like waves around, like, "Yeah, I got it, ma, I got it." And Belvoir just kind of like she wipes her hands on a rag that's kind of nearby because some of the stuff is a little bit greasy, and she says, "All right, show me that box," which sounds really really bad.
I guess we'll go get the box then.
Okay, so yeah, so you can lead her across the street to the Salvation Hotel, and you enter, and Mary's at the desk, and she smiles as you walk in. She waves to Bella Ward. She's like, "Bella, it's so good to see you. It's been a while." And Bella Ward is like, "Oh, Mary's like, it's good to see you too. How's the back, honey?" Mary's like, "Oh, acting up again. You know how it is. Once you hit a certain age." And Bella Ward's like, "Oh, girl, don't tell me about it. I know, I know." She's like, you know, "My friends here, they've got something that they want to show me. We're just gonna go take a look, and we'll be out of here in a little bit." And Mira's like, "Oh, take your time, honey. Talk to you later." And you can lead Belvoir upstairs. So, whose room would the oracle have been left in?
I guess mine.
Did we leave it in the boys' room?
I think I'm pretty sure we left it in uh, the single room that Killian was using. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's in Killian's room. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So you make your way to Killian's room, and Killian, you open up the door, and as you enter, you find that the room has been tossed,
Oh no!
I
and
saw that
you
coming.
I did too.
immediately look in the corner of the room where you had the oracle wrapped in blankets to muffle the sound, and there was nothing there except a pile of blankets.
Astrid wants to make everybody freeze and start looking for clues. Uh,
Okay. Yes, I mean, if you want to start looking for potential clues or something, you can do like perceptions, or if you have something specific in mind that you're looking for, you can do an investigation. But if you
Karen
just
will
want to,
cast guidance on whoever wants to do the searching.
I want to check the. Did we lock
I
it?
want to do the searching.
You find a blue paw print on the door.
Jesus.
Let me see. I have a +3 perception.
So add 1d4 to that.
Okay, so 15 total. All right. So Astra kind of like goes to this like in kind of like a almost a panic kind of take charge kind of manner. She's like, "I got this." And she walks to the center of the room, and she just kind of looks across using her little scouty ways to see if she can find any clues. What she does see, she sees two things. She sees what looks to be almost a large paw print, and she
What?
also notices what appears to be a smudge of mud that looks like it may have been made by a boot.
Okay.
And both of those prints are right where Killian had left the oracle. So whatever happened to the oracle has something to do with those things right there, obviously.
Okay. A paw print. Okay.
Could Astrid try to identify what made the paw print?
Yeah, she could do like a nature check.
Wondering if it has to do with those dogs.
Okay. The so the paw print, you are kind of having been out and about in the world and being the tracker that you are, you recognize that this paw print is not from what you would expect of like a dog. It's not like a wolf print. It's not a large canine. You are fairly certain that this is a paw print made by a bipedal creature. You're fairly certain that this is a knoll print.
Okay. That's a GNOL.
Yep, a GNOLL.
Okay. We haven't seen any of those as far as I know.
None that have like kind of jumped out at you, but like Salvation goes over and attracts all types. So
Mhm.
Do the doors have locks?
That's what I asked. Yeah. Did we lock it?
the door would have been locked.
And I
But
assume Killian has the only key, unless Donnie also has a key.
Donnie most likely also has a key.
Was it broken into, or did somebody open it?
You from where you're standing. I mean, it's like the door looked like it was fine when you got there. It was locked when you arrived. But when you went in, the room had been tossed.
Are we on the second floor?
Yes. Yeah, on the you're on the second floor, kind of towards the back.
Okay, so the oracle's gone, and the room has been also ransacked. So it sounds like they were just looking for any goods, unless they wanted to send a message. But why they would take a talking box that was really so obnoxious, I don't know, unless they knew what it was. Can I look around for any sort of note?
You so that right there, you can do an investigation. You look
Investigation.
specific.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, you look, you check under, blanket, you check under, upturned, things and everything like that. There does not to appear to be have been anything left as an indicator of reason or who might have done.
okay. Okay, so I guess at this point, me or somebody else needs to go down and ask the innkeeper who they saw going upstairs. Unless they went out the window. But I doubt it.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, I'll go do that.
Okay, so you're going down to talk to Mira.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come downstairs and Mira's kind of like look like a ledger on the table. She looks up as you approach. She's, "Oh, good morning, dear. What can I do for you?"
Well, it was a good morning, but now I need your help.
"Oh, dear. What happened?"
Our room has been robbed.
"Dear, what happened?"
Our room has been robbed. Yeah.
Oh, there's an
So,
echo,
somebody's
Yes.
in the echo chamber. Um,
and it's
question:
delayed. Yes.
As Astrid is asking this of um
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey.
Yes.
Come
Yes.
here.
What? Oh no!
What? What happened?
My mic is muted. I guess I pulled up the stream, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't have the right settings. Sorry, give me just a second.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, continuing. What were you saying?
Oh, okay, it was picking up through my... There we go.
So, I was thinking that as Astrid is um, talking to I forgot her name already, the innkeeper,
Mira.
that, yeah, um, Charon would kind of quietly in the background cast his own truth
Oh,
Okay.
so that she's not able to lie.
Oh, downstairs. On.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just make
Okay.
sure that it doesn't have some kind of crazy component requirement. Nope. It's a single action, lasts for 10 minutes.
Okay. So getting back to Astrid. So you told her it's like the room was robbed, and she's like, "Oh, dear, no, I don't see how. Nobody's been in here.
no one new has come in this morning? Or no one's been
No,
in here at all besides us?
I have not seen any. Nobody's come in. Nobody's come in this front door this
Uh-huh.
morning until you all came back.
Well, gosh,
I,
I really hate to ask you this. Is it possible you or maybe the sheriff could check the other rooms for us?
I suppose. I mean, it's like I mean, most of the rooms are empty. Just like it's just the rooms for you lot and Madam Karnak. But and I think there's maybe one other room. But yeah, we can go over and check it. Well, is there something that you're looking for? Was something taken?
Unfortunately, yes, and you'll know it when you see it.
I see. She's like,
Mhm.
well, okay. Well, she said, what's go what? What rooms did you want to check there?
Madam Karnak, she's the woman who likes to wear that beautiful purple cloak.
Yes. Oh, have you met her?
Not officially, but we've seen her around town of sorts.
Oh, lovely woman. If you ever get a chance, do tell her that Mary said hello.
Oh, I'll be sure to do that.
She
But
doesn't
if
seem to be
nobody
our biggest
else,
fan.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I was under the impression just Astrid went down there, or did Karen go as well?
Karen's down there. That's where she would have had to have
yeah,
casted his own truth.
Karen
Oh,
followed me,
I was imagining that she was kind of like just
sitting
kind of
on the stairs.
okay. All right, so both Astrid and Karen are down there. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and she's like, oh, she's like, that doesn't sound like Erilyn Karnak. She's such a nice lady. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. Oh, come along, dear. Let's go check. And what room did you want to check out? You wanted to check out Madame Karnak's room?
If that's permissible, if you're at liberty to let us do that, absolutely.
Well, unfortunately, Madame Karnak does like privacy, and I can assure you she has been gone since early this morning. She mentioned that she had much to do in setting up at the salvage market, and I haven't seen her since she left. So I highly doubt it was her.
That makes sense.
You
In
know,
my head, I'm just thinking that I could probably just go put my ear against the door and see if I can hear the dang through
sure,
the door.
sure, you could.
Um,
Like, what was there another room that you wanted to look into? I mean, like I said, most of them are empty.
It's the best lead we have so far. That would be great.
Okay. So, she goes upstairs with the exception of she very pointedly, she points out Karnak's, and she says, like, yeah, it's like, really don't want to go into there because, um, she would be most displeased. And yeah, she says, but, these other rooms. So she, one by one, there's like, maybe a total of like, maybe 12 to 15. I don't remember how many rooms I said were in this hotel.
Did
When
I
we
see where
first
the key was to Madame Karnak's room?
it
Is it like on a
was,
hook behind the wall or something?
so Mira's actually got kind of like a key ring that has like several keys
Oh,
on
cool.
it.
Okay.
But as she kind of goes, you can kind of get the sense that, like, y- that like all of the rooms that are like on a particular wall are on like one. Okay, like all of the rooms that are on that second floor are on this key ring, and she kind of goes down the row and she opens up the door uh, to each one, and she opens up the door, and some of them are kind of like double, some of them are singles, but all of them are untouched, well kept, for the most part for it, kind of like a small, dingy hotel in a frontier town. But yeah, there's nothing that kind of jumps out at you as you know, odd or anything about these rooms. And no sign of any intrusion into any of these rooms, nor is there sign of anything that you're missing.
Okay.
Now, I will say that you do notice that at the end of the hallway, there's a stairway that does lead down to the first floor. And if you were to take that down, there is a back door.
Oh, great. I don't say
Okay.
that out loud. I'm just thinking. Oh, great.
Um, and uh, so I'm gonna say that it's like, you kind of like while Mira is kind of opening up, like you've actually kind of glanced down the stairs and you notice the back door. And you also notice that back door appears to be slightly ajar, and that the door frame itself looks to be slightly damaged.
And
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go full Aragorn, and I'm just gonna be looking through for more of those footprints.
did you
Okay.
say Aaron going?
Aragorn.
Okay. So yeah, I guess probably say like either investigation or if your survival is a better skill for you. Whatever you think would be the best for kind of like tracking, looking for signs of the passage. Okay. Um, so you kind of start to descend the stairs just a little bit. And as you get maybe about halfway down, you notice another smudge of a kind of canine like footprint. But you also notice that there appears to be like a scrape on one of the steps, as if something was set on it and then dragged across the surface. So kind of like on wood, kind of leaves like a deep scratch. And then like just as it reaches the edge of the stair, it like kind of stops like very suddenly. It's something as if something was placed on the stair, dragged across it, and then picked up before it reached the edge of it.
Okay. So a knoll and a boot print. They might have needed something to carry it with.
Mm,
Put it on a litter or in a crate or something.
wheelbarrow.
Wheelbarrow, maybe.
All right.
Um.
So while Astrid and Carolina going around with Mira. Bella Lord, she just kind of shifts kind of impatiently on her feet, and she looks up at
I forgot she was
the
here.
the last three of you. She looks up at Killian, and she said, "Well," she's like, "I wish I could stick around." She said, "But I got to go over and help. I got to go help Gorinda finish setting up." She's like, "If you happen to find it, bring it by the market, and I'll see what I can tell you. But for now, I got to get going." So,
Killian will nod.
all right. So she's just kind of like waves at you and Donnie and Melody, and she scampers off, heading back towards the market. So going back to Astrid and Karen, what are you guys doing?
Uh,
So like right now, Astrid is kind of like halfway down back stairs. Karen is still up there with Mira. Mira's just opened up the door to one of the last rooms. And Karen, you can look inside and can see that, as before, this room is untouched. And so Mira just, she's like, oh, she says, well, everything looks to be in order. She's like, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know how they could have gotten in. And she closes the door and she relocks it. She's like, it's like, is there anything I can do? I mean, we could probably look for the sheriff and see if get the sheriff on the case.
I think that would be an excellent idea.
I thought we were the sheriffs.
we're the
Pardon?
scavengers.
No, you met sheriff. You
The
met
sheriff
sheriff.
was a construct, wasn't she?
She was a warforged, yes.
Warforged, yeah.
Okay. So so Mira is like, well, I'll go see if I can find her. She should be around here. She's like, try not to get into too much trouble. One, and she just scampers off. She grabs her shawl off the back of her chair as she passes it, and she goes out into uh, the street. And it's now pushing about like 7:45. The market will be opening soon. And you guys are now alone in the hotel.
Ew.
Hey, Melody,
Mm,
you want to pick the lock to what's your face's room?
alright.
Yeah, what all can your robot do? Can it like sniff?
That thing, I don't think so.
Okay. So they broke open the back door, but not the hotel room.
Yes.
Yeah. Would anyone be averse to actually, you know what? I'll wait. Never mind.
Verses are my thing.
Right. Um, I, hmm. I guess I could try the thing. Let's see. No, I figured that wouldn't work.
What was the thing?
The
His
silver
magic
key.
key.
Oh.
Okay. Where's my what is lock picking? Is that
Lock picking.
sleight of hand? Oh, is lock picking its own skill?
I think it's
Thieves' tools.
yeah. I was gonna say I think it's like a dex check with these giving like a bonus to it or something like that. I forget
Set
exactly
of
how it is.
tools includes a small firearm around, blah 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 blah. Proficiency with these tools lets you add your proficiency bonus to any ability checks you make to disarm traps or open locks. Cool, I'm glad that doesn't tell me. I'm gonna assume it's sleight of hand unless somebody tells me otherwise.
No, it's picking a lock typically requires a dexterity check using thieves' tools. Standard DC is 15, so the DM may adjust it based on the complexity of the lock. So you have to have a set of thieves' tools to attempt picking a lock.
Which
going shopping.
someone picked up a set. I think
Was it
Donnie and Melody
I was
did
about to say, I
both.
think I have some.
I have his set, yes.
Let me check my inventory.
Let's see, the proficiency bonus at level 4 is 2,
I definitely have them.
so
It's
I
somewhere.
have +4.
So Karen can give you a 1d4 with guidance.
Well, cool, because I'm gonna need that.
Yeah.
Epic.
So
7 plus 6 is 13.
Yeah, Melody bought them and then gave them to me.
Did I? Oh, that's right, I did do that. Okay,
But
so
then
I
we
don't actually
use
have them.
them. Are they multiple use or are they single use?
No, we never used them. The door didn't actually exist.
They're
I
multiple use.
remember that now.
Okay.
I remember that.
We did use them once.
Did
yeah,
we?
they're multiple use unless you roll so bad that you break them. But you start working with the thieves, and it's just not catching right. You can't seem to unlock it.
Do I have
Well,
like a
that's
check?
not working.
Does anyone have a check for magic? Oh, wait a minute.
I don't even have a bank account.
Hold on. Let me.
Oh god.
I want to look at something real quick.
Oh God.
Okay, I'm reading my gathered swarm thing. Oh, sorry. It's huge. My bad. Down at the bottom. Oh, I see what it's saying. I need to have a spell for it to do.
What?
I have a gathered swarm now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking I could, like, send them under the door, but I don't have a way to see. I don't think.
I have a thought. Let me
Okay.
see. So,
Graduation.
shut up. So here's a question. Can I look through the keyhole into the room?
Yeah, you can. I'll let you do kind of like a perception. Yeah, you can do a perception check. Probably should be at disadvantage.
Okay,
Maybe
I
roll.
just want to see through the lock. I don't really
Okay.
need to look at anything in particular. I just need to look through the lock. So
Okay.
that's a yes.
Yeah, you can look.
So Killian is going to use a new power, and he's going to manifest an echo of himself
Okay.
inside the room that he can now see,
Oh, okay.
and then
Sick.
uh, that is a bonus action, and
Okay.
then he'll wait, 6 seconds, and then a new bonus action teleport inside, swap places with it.
Interesting. Very clever.
Wow.
Yes. So you watch as Kellyanne and kneels down to the keyhole. And you're kind of like wondering what he's doing, and then you watch as he suddenly evaporates in front of your face, in front of your eyes. and Killian appears in the room inside. Um, you're what? Meanwhile, everybody outside is like, oh, you went. Um, inside the room, it looks very much like the room looked like before it was tossed. You see, like a pair, like a secondary pair of boots that's kind of like set up next to a small chair. There is a chest of drawers on which there is like a brush, and other elements of grooming, like a small bottle of perfume. You see another purple scarf kind of draped over a mirror in. But oh, and then there's like maybe like a small desk on the other, on which there is um, some paper and like an inkwell with a quill placed in front of it. Um,
Does the
and
door unlock from the inside?
the door doesn't lock on the inside.
All right, so I will go and unlock the door and let everyone in.
Okay, so you unlock the door and you put the door open, and you feel kind of like almost like a spider web kind of goes across your head, and you just kind of like wipe it away. You like it's like cobwebs. But the door is open now, and everybody looks up in surprise as Killian is suddenly putting up the door for you.
The spider web, is there a spider in it?
You don't see any spider, no.
Something is screaming at me that it's a familiar of some kind.
Same.
Mm.
Like, is there any other indication that this room actually hasn't been lived in?
Um, no, I mean the room looks like it's been lived in. Yeah, I mean it looks like it's occupied. You can see the
Yeah.
signs of ownership. But yeah, I mean, so like right now, I would definitely say that in the room, definitely do not see the aura. The hell? Oh, manifest. Echo.
It helps if I spell it right.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So does the echo stay?
It does, yeah.
Interesting. All right. So what are you doing?
So I think that we should search the room thoroughly while we have this moment, and someone
Okay.
should keep an eye out for anyone coming in.
I can do that.
Okay. So who's that? Asteroid, Asteroid. Where are you
Yeah,
going
Astrid.
to? What are you doing?
Shoot. Because we got the front door and the back door. I think they need two of us.
Okay.
So I can take the front steps.
Okay.
Unless
Okay.
you guys just want me to stand outside the room.
No, I think we should have someone at the front and back steps.
Okay.
Actually,
So
I will take the back steps just so that I can keep sort of an eye on the street, I guess.
I'll take the front door. I have good ears.
Yes, you do, Donnie.
well, so the back. Okay. So the back of the building kind of opens into kind of like a shared courtyard
Hmm.
for like the buildings are in the place. So there's not like an actual street there.
Uh,
Um. But Astra's gonna be covering the back door. Donnie's taking care of the front.
yes.
Okay.
Giggity.
All right. So shut up. All right. So we will start with the people that are searching the room ahead and do investigation checks or perception checks. If you're looking for something specific, please state what you're looking for, and that would be investigation. Otherwise, we'll assume that you are just kind of doing a perusal, and that would be perception.
Okay. So, let me go back to my sheet. Melody, do you want to start?
What are we starting again?
Or
You're
searching this
investigating Madame
bitch's room?
Carlight's-
Okay.
The only other person in the hotel,
Wait.
for some reason.
Currently,
Hold
Charon
on,
will
wait.
assist Melody on whatever check.
Is it investigation, I guess?
you can do investigation or perception. Yeah, primarily it's like I'm figuring if you do investigation, you're looking for something. You got a specific idea of what you'd be looking for. Otherwise, you could do like kind of like a general. So you kind of cast an eye across the room. Nothing is like really jumping out you other than the things that I mentioned before. It's quite obvious that this room is occupied by a woman, just by the perfume and the brush. You do notice that on the brush there are several black hairs that are kind of tangled bristles. So you know, having seen Eruin Karnak before, black-haired woman, uh, this is obviously her. And yeah, nothing particularly is like jumping out at you is unusual for this place here.
I would like to look in the desk area for anything of interest.
Okay. So yeah, so the desk itself has got maybe 3 drawers. Um, it's kind of like one of those like flat desk where there's a larger middle, and then to the side of it there's like a couple of smaller drawers. Um, the drawers are not locked, and you open up the side drawers, and you just see that there's like maybe a few more sheets of paper, maybe like another inkwell stopper. In the other one, there is um, maybe a small pile of uh, parchment envelopes. Um, and in the middle of the drawer, this one is locked.
Um,
And yeah, and on the surface of the desk, like I said, there was like maybe 2 or 3 sheets of paper, an inkwell, and a quill.
I'll point
And
the drawer out to Melody and say, "Hey, can you open that?"
Sure. Do I have to make a check to open a drawer? Or...
It's
wait, the
locked.
drawer is it's locked.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's asking you to do it.
So, Karen will give you guidance.
4 plus the 4 that I've got.
You
Oh no,
So
actually, that would be +2. It's already +2 there.
did you
So
add your dex and proficiency bonus to that?
that's what I'm saying. The +2 is 4.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So 16 in total.
so so the plus two is 4. Oh, okay, so that would be 12 plus 4. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so 16. Yeah, so you get to work on the drawers lock, and in just a couple of seconds you manage to go over and trip the switch, and it unlocks. You open up the drawer, and yeah, there's really nothing in there.
Alrighty then.
All right, then I guess we can make one more search check and
Okay.
then um, lock it back up.
And while they're doing that, Donnie and Astrid, I want you both to make me perception checks.
Okay.
Nice.
I have
Nice,
good
Donnie.
ears.
Perception, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nice, nat 20. Okay, so while Killian and Melody are busy in the other room, Karen, Astrid and Donnie, you are standing at the top of the stairs on your respective sides. Um, Donnie, you hear it because you're right there at the front. Astrid, you hear it even more acutely because that's a freaking natural 20. Plus, you beat his score. You hear outside, you can hear Mira's voice, and you hear her talking with another woman. Um, and it sounds like they're getting closer, and you hear Mira say, "It's like, oh, I'm sure there's nothing wrong. No, your room is locked up tight. Nobody can get in there. I've got the only key." And you very quickly understand that Mira is coming towards the hotel, most likely with Eberron Karnak.
Okay. Donnie, how good are you at distraction?
We're not next to each other, are we?
You're like at opposite ends of kind of like. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like a super. Say that it's like 40 feet long.
Well, I assume that I started walking Donnie's way the minute I heard her come in.
Yeah, yeah. They definitely sounds like they're coming, towards the front door. So yeah, you could definitely. Sam.
Because one of us needs to go stop her from coming up here, and the other one needs to go tell the others to get out and dodge.
Okay. I have a plan. I will go to them.
Oh my god.
Well, here's the thing, Astrid. It's like you have to go tell Donnie that you would have had to go past the room. So what about get the fuck out?
Oh, I thought they were downstairs.
No, 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 no. No. That's not how I understood it. I thought
Okay.
that they were stairs on.
Actually, no, he's right. He has a point. Um. Okay, I'll go into the room and tell everybody to leave. Donnie, I don't know what you're doing. Uh,
When she does that, then I will motion
oh,
everyone out of the room.
yeah, abort, abort, abort mission. Abort mission, we're out of time.
And
She
then
knows.
once everyone's out of the room, I'll lock it back and then swap places with my Echo.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So so Donnie, you can hear that the voice is getting closer. You're still at the top of the stairs. Everybody's gotten out of the room. Where's everybody going?
I say we all scramble into Killian's room.
Okay. All right. So you all retreat to Killian's room. Donnie, you see Mira and the lady with the purple scarf entering. Um, the purple scarf lady looks seriously irked. She looks quite a bit pissed. And she's actually kind of looks up towards the top of the stairs. And you lock eyes with.
The moment we lock eyes, I put on my biggest smile. I raise my hand to wave. I put one foot behind the other. I kind of lock my legs together as I pretend to walk, and I fall forward and slam straight on my face and start
Nice.
crying as loud as I possibly can.
Wow.
So Mira hears the sound of bawling and hears you begin to stop bawling like a little child. She like looks up at the top of the stairs and she sees you flat on your face. Oh my goodness, are you all right? And she begins to like as quick as this old lady can, she begins to kind of come up the stairs towards you. She's like worrying like an old grandmother. It's like, are you okay? Oh my goodness. And but you kind of get the sense that she's hoping that you don't see her. But she gets up to you and she begins to help you up to your feet. She's like, What happened?
I can't keep my balance, so she has to continue holding me up if I'm going to stay up.
Okay, okay, so she's like taking the majority of weight, which I don't know, how much do you weigh? How much does Donnie weigh?
I don't know. I think I'm like 5'5", so
So
probably
maybe
like
100.
120.
Okay. All right. So she manages to kind of like, shoulder the majority of your weight. But she actually kind of carefully guides you toward like a chair that's actually kind of like set off the side of the way, and helps you sit down.
Okay, but
While
I can't bend my legs because they hurt too much, so I can't really sit on the chair.
okay, well, I mean, you can sit on the chair, but your legs just stick straight out and like in the middle of the way.
Yeah, they're
So
sticking straight out, but I'm begging her to like help me keep my balance on the chair.
okay, and or she hasn't let you go. She kind of put you in there to kind of like take the weight off of her shoulders, and she's kind of like holding you in place, and she's worrying at you. While she's doing that, Erwin Karnak has come up the stairs behind her, and your legs are kind of locked in position, straight out, kind of blocking her path. And she just looks down and she's like, "Excuse me, young man, could you move your feet?"
So as she's saying
No,
that,
they hurt.
I'm going to use another bonus action to dismiss the echo
Okay.
that's in the room.
So Karnak just kind of like she sighs like very heavily as if she's like very put out. She's like, "This is ridiculous," and she just steps uh, Donnie's legs and begins to kind of.
She did what?
She stepped over your legs because your legs are kind of like sticking straight out, kind of blocking.
I shout in pain, and I say, "Oh no! A string from my pants has caught onto her shoe. If she can't go anymore, she's pulling on my legs. It hurts."
She just kind of like looks back at you like with annoyance, and she just kind of like so. We'll say that she's kind of like wearing almost like a kind of like long coat over her clothes, and you will say that there is like a little thread from your trousers that have kind of caught on like one of the buttons of her coat and snagged in place, and it's kind of like yanked you just a little bit to the side, and you let out that cry, and she goes over and she looks back and she looks down at her coat and at your legs, and she yanks her coat in disgust, like really roughly, and it it yanks you off the chair. Um, it breaks the threads, and she just kind of like just in a huff just goes over and she pulls the cloak and she just continues walking down the hallway. She passes Killian's room. Now, is in Killian's room? Is the door open? Is it closed?
I would
What
say
did
it's
you
a
do?
jar.
Okay. She and is anybody kind of like looking up its way as
Not
is it,
me.
I,
how much is it a jar? Is it like just a
enough
crack?
that she could see in that we're in there, and
Oh,
I would say that Killian at least is trying to straighten things up from where the room had been ransacked.
okay. Okay. Excuse me. So she kind of stomps past the room. Thank you. She stomps past the room. You are inside busily kind of, trying to get everything back in position. And you can hear her get to the end of the hallway to her door. And you can hear the scrape of her boots as she kind of turns to face it. And you hear the sound of the key in the door. And it opens. And she opens up the door. And there's a pause for like a good 15 20, 25 seconds. And then you hear the feet, the footsteps enter the room, and the door slams behind her.
She knows. She knows.
And all is quiet for several minutes. What are you doing?
I'm still crying.
So, ha, 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 ha. Too hot. Sorry. Just took a bite of food and whew, hot. Um, so Mira is like actively trying to console you. She's, you're starting to calm down a little bit. She's managed to help you get up off or back onto the chair.
I don't want to calm down.
Oh, okay. Well, you're
Oh,
still. Still got you back on the chair. You're still in like. Um, what are the rest of you doing?
I'll poke my head out the door at Donnie and give him like a little thumbs up, like, okay, good job.
I feel
All
so
right.
much better.
Suddenly, his legs can work again.
Fully restored.
All right. So
I say we
we'll
get out of
say
here.
we'll say about like a minute later. Killian, you've managed to kind of get the room kind of more or less back into shape. Kind of put everything back where it was when you left it. Um, you still can't get rid of the feeling of being violated. Your space has been violated. Um,
But so is hers.
but as you've kind of finished uh, cleaning up, you hear the door at the end of the hallway open up again, and steps in the way, and door close again, and you hear the rattle of a key in a lock as the door is relocked, and you hear the footsteps coming down the hallway, getting up to your room, and it seems almost if they're starting to slow, and you're like kind of preparing yourself to have to deal somebody kind of getting in your face or something like that, accusing you of being in their room. But I mean, how could she know that you were in her room? Um, but they start to slow, but then they just kind of continue right past the door to your down towards where Mira and Donnie are. Donnie, I'm assuming, is still sobbing. Uh, and Mira looks up as Karnak approaches, and Karnak says, "Well, everything seems to be in order, but I assure you, somebody was in my room." And Mira's like, "I, you know, there must be something going on. It's like, young these young friends here, they have told me that their room was fine. As a matter of fact, when you caught up to me, I was just looking for Sheriff. As a matter of fact, I still need to go find her. I'll see you out." And she said, "Will you be okay, young man?"
I think so.
Okay. Well, you just stay here and rest. I'll be back in a little while.
Okay.
So I'd like to poke my
She
head out of the.
pat you on the shoulder, and she and Karnak begin to walk down the stairs. She's continuing a little stream of chatter. Karnak head out front door.
Can I
Um,
poke my head out as they're headed down the stairs and shout to the innkeeper
well, actually, hold on one second. Oh, what were you going to say?
that they need to invest in some pesticides? They seem to have a spider problem.
Oh, 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 oh.
When you go over and say that, Karnak whips around and she looks at you, and she
I'll wink at
looks
her.
furious. But she doesn't say anything, but she looks pissed.
She
And she just
knows that I know that she knows that I know that she knows.
pretty much, she just spins on her heel and she continues out with uh, Mira. And as she gets to the door, she looks back up at Donnie. And she just glares at him like, "I know what you all have done. I won't forget." So, and she leaves with Mira, and are now alone in the hotel again. All right. So it's now about getting towards 8 o'clock. What are you doing?
Going to bed.
Hmm,
Hmm? What
yes,
did you
I
say?
don't entirely know what else there is to do.
He said going to bed.
It's 8 in the morning. You just woke up.
Well, it's actually almost 8
Oh,
p.m. here, so
Oh,
I was just making a joke. Um, so I need to go and do the thing with the grain, the wheat, the oats, whatever it is, moving the
okay.
bags.
well, the dress isn't done for another day at least, so I guess I'll check around and see if there's any jobs anyone needs doing.
Well, that's how Killian got the grain
Yes,
job.
I'm aware. I'm just
Are
saying I might
we
check for like any others.
Okay.
are we working under the assumption that getting our oracle back is a lost cause?
I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be, but
I say our like it's ours, but you know. Uh,
I don't
the
entirely know what we
you know
needed.
what? Astrid is gonna, after the group's all kind of like standing together, she's just gonna say, "Well, since our only suspect seems to know what we're up to anyway, what do you guys think? Shall I keep an eye out around town for our specific thieves, or shall I go try to research what that thing even was?"
Why don't you research the box itself, and I'll see if I can't find uh, any trails or tracks or anything. Since I don't know what the Steel Defender can and can't do, but I guess two pairs of eyes would probably be a little more efficient at finding things.
I'm okay with that.
Donnie, sentient enough to decide where to go?
No.
No! You're so sad.
Well, why don't you go with what's her name again? Astrid. Why don't you go with Astrid and help her look for
Okay.
books?
All right.
Let's
So,
send Kieran with them, and then Killian can go with Melody.
I thought Killian was dealing with his grain.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. So Kieran can go with Melody.
okay. So, Karen and Melody, what were they doing again? I'm sorry.
We were ideally just going to look around and see if there's any tracks or evidence left behind of where whoever took the box might have gone.
Okay.
Like any sort of nicks in a door frame or blood
Okay.
on a windowsill or something.
All right. So, probably starting with going out the back door.
Probably.
Okay. And then uh, Donnie and Astrid and Karen will go to newspaper.
Yes.
Okay. 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 So I'm gonna have Karen and Melody as you go out the back door. You can do a perception check or a survival check if you can find any further signs of
Okay. Karen will
passage of.
give Melody a guidance.
Well, my perception, my survival is +1, so we're gonna do perception. Okay, I
We ain't
feel
doing
like I
so
was
well.
cheated out of the 18 there, but you know.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
you do not see anything immediately outside the door of the hotel that would kind of give you an indication of where they might have gone,
right.
what direction they would have gone.
Speaking of steel defenders, can I have the page?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting I could just open the damn thing myself. Maybe Okay, let's see here. What's Steel Defender's perception? Well,
I
its
think it's up.
perception is +4.
Yeah, I saw that.
It also sucks.
Well, it's better than yours.
Well, not really, because
Oh, no, true.
with
That's
the
right.
bonuses, mine was 12 as well.
True, true, true. Yeah, the defender's not really picking up anything either. I mean, it is a metal creature, so I don't know if it could smell.
I just meant more so like it would at least be able to see things.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it was no help.
No.
All right, so the other three, you make your way down to the Salvation Times or something like that. What's it called? Yeah, Salvation Times. The
Library
office,
of Lang.
the uh, the office, which is actually right next to the tavern, and you enter the office, and you find that the front of the building is kind of set up as kind of like a small office. There's like maybe 3 or 4 desks there. Although at this time only one of them is occupied by a female dwarf, and excuse me, behind her, can coming from the back room, you can hear sounds of several printing presses kind of running at the same time. In the front corner, you can see that there is a stack of newspapers, emblazoned with the header "Salvation Times" right across it. And if you were to take they're kind of like right there, so you kind of look down at it, and you can see that the date is actually from uh, uh, probably towards the end of last week edition. And there's actually like another stack like right next to it that is like even older, by like maybe like another 4 or 5 days. Um, and as you enter, the dwarf looks up at you, and she smiles. She gets up from the desk and she comes towards you. She's like, "Morning. What can I help you with? Excuse me. What can I do for you?"
We were hoping to check your catalog.
My catalog. Oh, for what?
Uh, Information on possible war devices. Anything called an oracle would be very helpful.
Hmm.
Do you
Well,
have the first edition of War for Dummies?
so she's like, "Well, not ringing any bells, but let me. Do you have like an idea of like time frame? Like
Old.
pre-war, post-war, like or what war? um, and she just kind of like she gestures you towards like the back of this office. And what you see on the back wall of this office is a large, probably takes up the majority of this wall, and it is a very well made wooden like file cabinets, and the wall is just completely covered in them, and you can see that they are alphabetized. There's also some that actually have like excuse me, like date ranges on them, and but it's arranged in an order that kind of boggles the mind. You look at it and it makes the way it's ordered makes absolutely no sense to you. Like, it starts off, you think it's alphabetic, but then you notice that, like, in the third row, uh, L is immediately followed by a drawer that has DY, to ES, and then it's like you see that, and then you start looking at the rest of the, and you realize that this is somebody's personal organization system, which has no bearing on reality. So you're like, there's absolutely no way that I could go through this and find what I'm looking
It's
for.
sorted alphabetically, but not by title, by the last word in the book.
As I said, I mean, it's chaotic. It is absolute chaos the way this. Um, so the dwarf woman, she's like, oh, she's like, how silly of me. It's like, yeah, name's Gerthin, and she holds out her hand. She's like, Gerthin Soldarak. She said, what's yours?
Astrid
Name
Crispio, pleasure to
is
meet you.
Odorak.
Danny.
Ple- the pleasure is all mine to meet. Very nice to meet you, Johnny and Astrid. I am the editor of the Salvation Times, and if there's any information to be found, I may have it. So, tell me again, what is it that you're looking
At some point during the war, a device was made to, I suppose, send communications from one part of an army to another,
for? Okay, and
called
as
an
you're
oracle.
yeah, and as you're speaking, she's like writing like notes, like shorthand on a small pad of paper,
Sure.
using a stylus that she pulls from her ear. She's like, go on, go on.
It was able to take in information and then audibly give information.
Really? Oh, that does sound interesting. Quite specific, though. And yeah, time frame. Have an idea?
Can I give like a history check to give like my best assumption?
Yeah,
Weren't
go
you
for it.
in the war? Wouldn't you know?
Yeah, you were in the war.
Astrid would.
The
Holly
war
does
was only a
not.
couple years ago. It's only been a couple years since it ended.
Astrid
Exactly been
knows.
4 years.
Holly does not.
Well,
Been about,
yeah, but Astrid would know, so.
yeah, Astor would have kind of an idea that,
Yeah.
uh, well, she could probably say
Then
she
again, nothing
like
says that this thing was in that war. It could have been an
thi-
older war.
this is true. This is true. And the thing to keep in mind is that there is a century to play with there. So, but she could kind of like give a time frame, probably about this time, around the start till the end, somewhere in that span there.
It was
Um,
at least after the time that boxes were made.
God, that was very, very generic. Okay, so she takes, the notes, and she's like, well, eh, not a ton to go on. You know, Let me see what I can find. So she leaves you to kind of like stand there, and she goes to the file cabinets, and she begins like pulling open like one drawer after another, kind of rifling through it. She pulls the file, looks through it, puts it back in, closes that drawer. She reaches down, and you're watching as she's doing this, and you are even more confused than you were before just looking at the filings, because it just seems even more chaotic than you could possibly imagine, because she is grabbing at drawers that the lettering on them is nowhere close to any of the words that you provided her with. So you're kind of like, I have no idea what she's doing. But anyway, so
This
she
time the books are sorted by the first color that's said in the book.
like essentially it's like it is that obscure, the filing system. So she, continues to go over and pull open drawer after drawer after drawer, file folder after file. And as you're watching her do all this, you can see that she seems to be almost getting more frustrated as she's going because she's not finding anything. And after about 20 minutes or so, she stops. She pushes one drawer closed. She opens up one and she opens up another drawer and she pulls out a file full. And you see her face kind of darken a little bit and then almost brighten just a little bit. And she kind of gives almost this kind of like you expect her to be like, ah, Eureka. She kind of, oh, shit. And she closes the folder. She throws it back in the thing. She's like, I thought I had something. Like, sorry, there's nothing in my files referring to anything about it that does anything that you said. You know, I've got stuff about oracles. Like people oracles that tell fortunes, but mostly they're just stories about, uh, you know, and she holds up her hand. She does like the quotey fingers. She's like oracles who rested. But that looks to be the extent of what I have in my files. If there's something specific, you know, that pertains more to what you're asking about, sorry, love, I ain't got it. Really wish I could help.
You've been a great help. That actually gives us some information to go on.
Yes.
Well, no news is some news. It's a secret.
No news means no news.
Astrid is perpetually optimistic. She's like, so
She
well,
tries.
I really, yeah, yeah, I've got some of the best files in the district, and if there's anything that somebody else could do, it's not going to be in Salvation. You may have to go to one of the bigger cities. But if you ever have anything else that you need some help with, where to find me? We got name's girl. She says, and if unless there's anything else, I really need to get back to work. Got to put out the next edition this afternoon. So,
What was your name again?
uh, Gerthin Solder.
Sorry, you cut out. Girth and what?
Gerthin Solderak. Soldorak. And it's Gerthin.
Sweet.
Gerthin.
Well, it was lovely to meet you.
Ah, you as well. I hope you have a pleasant day. And she returns to her desk and she sits down and gets back to work.
Donnie, do you think we should find the others?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So meanwhile, oh, I wrote Donnie twice. um, excuse me. Killian, you have done your little green job. Well, actually, you're still at your green job. And yeah, pretty much you are just being requested to move, uh, looks to be maybe about between like 50 and 75 sacks of grain from one building into the building right next door to it. And it's explained that the building that the grain is currently in was found to be infested with termites, and before the next storm comes through and blows the building down, they want to move the grain into the building next door that is a bit stronger, so that they can go knock down the original building before it falls down. And they promise to give you 15 gold for your work.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, forget what was Melody doing? Oh, Melody was still looking for tracks, evidence of thieves. They weren't able to find anything. Um, so I'm gonna say
Shake
that
your booty. Shake your
Oh,
booty. Is that what we're all thinking?
Yeah, I forgot that my mic was still on. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I don't know what I said.
I
That
missed it too.
yeah.
Sorry.
Lee
Um.
was humming.
I
Oh, okay.
was, but I forgot what triggered me to hum it.
I think Jared made a noise that sounded like the start of it.
Oh, could be.
So I'm gonna say that Donnie and Astrid and Karen was with. Oh, okay. Melody went by herself. Was Karen with Melody?
Was it
Yes.
Melody?
Because well, for some reason I thought like three people went to the newspaper and
Yes, Karen went with Melody, and then the other two went by themselves, and um,
okay, gotcha.
Killian was.
Shaggy and Scooby, you go one way. Daphne, you go with me.
Don't split the party. All right, so
You know damn well that Fred and Daphne were hooking up every time that they sent Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby off by themselves.
When she
um,
wasn't getting kidnapped.
so
Well, Daphne Blake was a black belt in karate, so she shouldn't have been kidnapped ever.
no, she liked to be kidnapped. Um,
She's the top in the relationship.
oh, totally,
Yes, very much so.
totally. Anybody wearing an ascot, total bottom. Um, what was I gonna say? So as uh, Donnie and Astrid are leaving the newspaper office and beginning to get to the corner to start heading down Main Street. At the same time, Melody and Karen are coming up Main Street from about Second Avenue. And both groups, at roughly about the same time, notice a figure. Actually, you notice a pair of figures. One looks to be, I wrote this shit down here. One looks to be a hobgoblin wearing heavy, like kind of rough armor, kind of like worn, almost tattered leather armor with thick soled leather boots. And the hobgoblin is walking beside a slightly taller figure, kind of hunched over just a little bit, also wearing a suit of tattered leather. The legs are furry, kind of bent at an odd angle, and the the figure is carrying a kind of like a club that it's almost drags along behind it. And like I said, this figure is kind of hunched over or kind of stooped um, to the point where you almost think that if it were to stand fully erect, it would probably be like a good foot and a half taller than the hobgoblin. But even stooped, it is probably like a good 6 to 7 inches taller than the hobgoblin. Astrid, you realize that that figure is a knoll, and that figure is heading towards the market, the salvage market.
Hmm.
Astrid is wondering where he came from.
You can't tell. They like the hobgoblin and the knoll are just kind of walking together down the street. They may be like two buildings away from the salvage market. You're like right at the corner. So you are probably no more than like 30, 40 feet behind them. And at the same time, Melody and Karen, you see the same two figures kind of walking towards you.
Right. So
Um,
you said it's a knoll?
Yeah,
The gnoll and a
Noel and a
hobgoblin.
hobgoblin.
A nail and a hobgoblin. A hobnoblin. I have no idea what to do with this information. So they're
So
coming towards us or like past us just in our direction?
they are walking down the street. So like where if you were looking at that map that I've shared before, the streets, you are probably not quite at Second Avenue just yet. You're probably like right about the middle of that block the R is. So you're kind of coming up towards Second Avenue. Uh, the the Hobgoblin and the Knoll are just about right in front of that building with 10 on it. I believe it's 10. And the others are right at the corner of First Avenue and Main Street. Okay, so they're right on First Avenue there. So there's probably closer to 675 feet between you and the Hobgoblin and Knoll, and just about like 30 to 40 feet between Astrid and Donnie and the um so if you kind of continue, you can kind of like watch to see where they're going, and they are kind of just walking along, um, kind of talking amongst themselves, and you can, I would probably say, if you want to make an insight check to kind of see if you can kind of get an idea of where they might be heading.
Ugh. Astrid continues to know nothing.
Who's are we all back together or are we still separated?
You are still, Killian is still doing the grain thing.
Okay.
Um, because that's
Our
probably
two
going to
little
take him like
groups are on opposite sides of the street.
I'm gonna, so I'm gonna say it's probably been pretty close to like 45 minutes, almost an hour. So I'm gonna say it's just coming on at 9 o'clock. And I'm gonna say that Killian, you actually did have some help moving the grain, so you actually finished maybe about 10 minutes ago and are actually walking uh, west on Second Avenue, coming from just past um, the the salvage market. So you are probably just about the back of the salvage market,
Okay.
coming towards Main Street. Um, so everybody, you're going south, going north, coming east. So you haven't gathered yet, but you will shortly. Um, so I'm going to say with Melody, even though it's not the best, you kind of think that it looks like they're heading in the general direction of the salvage market.
Hmm.
Okay.
I don't know what to
So,
do with that information is the problem.
I want to follow them.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah,
I
I mean, do you like, speed up to try and catch up, or do you kind of keep the same distance?
No, I'm gonna keep the distance.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if Karnak went back to the salvage market and maybe they're going to go talk to her.
Okay. Okay. And so Killian, you are continuing up. You're probably getting a little bit closer to the front of the store.
Okay.
Uh, Melody and Karen, they are just about reaching Second Avenue. And as you kind of are reaching that corner, you watch as the hobgoblin do in fact walk in through the doors of the salvage market.
Okay, so we know that they went to the salvage market.
Okay. And short time later, Melody, you see Astrid and Donnie, the and just about that same time, also see Killian arriving at the corner of the street there, and he looks surprised to see Melody there, kind of like, "Oh, I was just coming to get you. Oh, and by the way, you can add 15 gold to your
Okay.
sheet."
Killian, yeah, I assume you mean.
Yeah, just Killian because that was the job. Um, and yeah, so you kind of meet at the corner, and you can see that Astrid and Donnie are kind of approaching you. They're still maybe about 40, 50 away. What's going on? What are you doing?
Um, I will make my way towards them.
Okay. All right, so you
Yeah.
join Melody at the corner there, as Donnie and Astrid. Uh, Donnie and Astrid, are you joining with Melody and Killian, or are you ducking yourselves into the market?
Sorry.
Sorry, I had
I
to pet the
want
puppy.
to pet the puppy.
I'm interested in the market.
Me too.
Okay. So, are you going to enter it, or are you just kind of look in as you pass?
I'll like poke my head around the door and see if where the knoll and the hobgoblin are going is obvious.
Okay.
Donnie walks right past Astrid into the market.
Oh dear.
Oh, God. All right. So, Donnie, well, and Astrid, you'll see this too, but Donnie, like even more so, because you're like there. You immediately see the hulking, yeah, the stooped figure of the gnome and the hobgoblin. They are maybe about midway into the market on the left hand side. They are standing with a small kind of conversing in the middle of like this aisle that is in front of this one table. It's a little bit more towards the back. You see that they are talking with a uh, a shifter, a female shifter with kind
Oh.
of like braids that are tightly woven into the hair, very feral looking. And as she speaks, you do notice the occasional flash of sharp teeth in her mouth. And they are also joined by a couple of human figures, a male and a female, and they are they resemble each other to the point where if they're not twins, they're definitely brother and sister. Um, and they're kind of conversing. And but you also notice that they're kind of well, actually, that's what you see because you're just kind of like continuing a little bit past Donnie. You can see that they are standing in the middle of the aisle in front of the table that is manned by the figure that had that ventilator mask on his face. And you see that they are all standing around a wooden box that is about roughly about 3 feet or so by X amount. I forget the exact dimensions, but you immediately recognize it as the uh,
I
confirm
recognize
is
him as who? You're very quiet again.
you immediately recognize it as
The
the
oracle.
box.
Is
Yeah.
Karnak hanging out with them?
No, Karnak is a little bit close to the front of the market, like directly across the way from Bellalura and Garunda. The other guy is like towards the back of the building, and they are kind of like midway through the market, but they are standing around the oracle, just kind of like conversing. And you can see the guy with the ventilator is standing nearby. So almost kind of get the sense that they are talking to him about this thing.
So I think that someone needs to go get the sheriff, and the rest of us need to go and introduce ourselves.
Right.
Ooh,
Because
Yes,
I think
I.
it would be bad if we just started, blasting pew 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 in the middle of the market.
it probably would be bad.
I mean, I'm happy to do it, but at the same time, if we have the sheriff like there with us, then you know,
All right, so
Hmm.
what are you doing?
um, who
I think I just want to pull Astrid into the market with me.
Like you see it and you're like, hey, that's ours. And you run back and you grab my collar and you're dragging me in
Mom, mom,
towards.
mom, mom.
Yeah, he like drags after it. It's like, see, it's there. There it is. There it is. I could totally see that from Dottie. That's awesome. All right, so Melody and Karen and Killian watch as Donnie dashes out of the market, grabs Astrid by the arm, and drags her back in, out of sight. What do you guys do?
do we have any idea where the sheriff is?
No, it's you have not. Actually, I mean, you haven't seen the sheriff himself
Is
since.
there a
Uh,
bell?
Not that you've noticed. No.
Ding 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 ding
All
ding.
right, then maybe the five of us can walk up and introduce ourselves and try to settle this without combat.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I have a feeling it's not going to go that way, but
You're right. Oh, I'm just wondering what they want to do with it. Because they're like, on the one hand, they stole it from us. So there's a reason that they want it.
Maybe they want to take over Salvation or
maybe.
become Sauron.
Well,
Yeah.
keep in mind, here everything is salvaged, so it could be just nothing more than them wanting to go over and have a nice payday.
Hmm.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
However, it seems like an awful coincidence that they broke into our room after we brought that in.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a lot of effort to go specifically for that box and nothing else.
I mean, they could have just robbed us. I mean, like us personally.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, it's like, guys, you live there, but you don't live there.
Hmm.
So pretty much, other than the Oracle, you didn't really leave any belongings behind. So, because you guys
Fair.
walk around with your armor, your gear, your weapons, backpacks, filled with all your stuff that would go. So pretty much, when you walk out of a room, that room's empty. You know.
Fair.
So the fact that the only thing that they took was makes sense. You also, I don't remember exactly, but I don't think that there was, while the chest was cloaked with with cloaks to kind of muffle the sound, you still were kind of a procession of people moving through the town carrying a big box or dragging a big box. So who knows who saw that?
Mm.
You
Well,
know, figured out
obviously.
what.
Well, I mean,
And
since we were seen as a procession carrying this box through town, everyone knows that it belongs to us. So therefore, we should be able to go and repossess it.
Not necessarily. Not everybody knows that it's yours.
Well, they're about
There's
to.
also nothing that
They're about to.
necessarily says this isn't like a lawless town or something.
I don't think it's a lawless town. I think there's a punishment that fits a lot of crimes, but at the same time, we don't know exactly how steep those punishments are.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing, so kind of things where um, it's kind of like an honor code. What you salvage is yours.
Mm-hmm.
If you steal it, yeah, we're perfectly justified in cutting your hands off or something.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it's okay to just go in a blasting. I'll be my inner Danny DeVito tonight. Pew 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 pew.
um, okay. So, what are we doing?
It is 8:35. Do we want to
I was about to ask.
Oh, do
pause?
you wanna pause it here and we'll pick this up next time?
I think so.
Not a problem.
I'm sorry.
That
I'm
works for
fading.
me.
I've been up and like at 7 a.m. the last couple days trying to get stuff done.
Yeah.
So
Uh, yeah. I'm sorry. This wasn't more exciting. I am kind of
I
making
enjoyed
this.
it.
Yes, that was
I'm
fun.
so I'm actually making. I've gone completely off script.
Oh
I
God,
am complete. I am completely making this shit up because so we off stream now.
no.
Okay, stream
Keep
doesn't need
going.
to know this. Well, okay. So basically, there was something that was supposed to happen during blasting that didn't, and or that I forgot to make happen. And I am trying to kind of come up with a way that makes sense that it can still sort of kind of happen, but in a different way. And then that's going to lead to other events that will happen in a way. So
Uh-huh.
in order to get it to sort of where the story originally wanted to go, I have to make up a completely different story. So this whole situation is being completely made up. And
Okay.
did you did you figure out what the spider web was?
I'm pretty sure that it's her familiar. I think
It's
she's a
not.
wizard or a sorcerer or something. The spider web was not a familiar.
It wasn't. Well, you thought it was a.
Some sort of psychic connection she's got to this like string magic on the door.
I want to say. I think. Hold on. I want to look it up because I think I've got the right thing, but it would be just like me to go completely screw the pooch on that.
I mean, it wouldn't be the
Here,
first time.
don't you start with me. I think it's this here.
Honestly, I really hope it's a familiar, and because I want to collect a box of dead spiders, like kill every spider I can find, collect them, put them in a box, and then leave them for her in her room one
And then
day
I'll
when
put
she's
that
out.
box inside another box.
Oh,
And
okay.
when
You
it
know what? I thought
arrives,
so. I did kind of screw the pooch. It was actually to be
a what?
a wire.
A wire. Okay. A spider web is just a fancy wire.
Yeah.
Well, so my idea was that it was supposed to be something that would kind of like just go across your face and kind of alert you that like, oh, you know what, something's here. So basically, the door was um,
Tripped.
fixed
Trapped.
with an alarm spell.
Okay.
So the spider web was the wire breaking, kind of like gracing, going across your forehead, making you
Right.
think that it's a spider web, but it was actually breaking the wire, which alerts her that somebody's going into her space.
I think that we need to invest in an alarm spell now.
Well, we're not making that mistake again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well now she's really not fans of you.